Hey, so this is your girl Meredith, and I want to do this home buying blog. And so I said, I want to be able to document this journey because this is our very first home buying journey to home ownership, okay? And I honestly thought I never this day would ever come. And so I wanted to just, share, pretty much each day how this process is going. Um, One day I'll probably look back on this and laugh and like, what in the world was you thinking or talking about or going through? But I also wanted to be able to do this so that one day when my kids get a little bit older, when they're going through this process, they will one day have questions, and maybe at that time, I don't know, you know, if I'll either be around or if I'll be too old to even remember, or be able to comprehend, whatever the case may be. But at least I will be able to give them a firsthand experience as real as it comes, as far as what the process is, what emotions are behind it, just the everyday thing. So here we go. All right, so um, prior to today, I have, been in contact with an amazing realtor, and I did a lot of different steps in um, finding a lender, just through interviewing, also getting references, as well as just asking questions about what type of programs they have in terms of down payment assistance, closing cost assistance. And then, once I finally ran my credit, um, and also submitted the documents necessary, that it eventually showed me if I did not qualify for that. So I'll, probably do a video on that as well. But for this purpose of this video, I'm not going to go too far into detail with that. And so, I started this process about a year and a half ago. And that process started with me asking a really good friend who's in the mortgage lending and loan officer industry, a really close college friend who referred me to our realtor. And um, my realtor's name is Shamika Washington out of the Richmond, Virginia area. And we've been in this process together for a year and a half, because I just said, you know what, I want to take this leap because it's been years and years and years that I've been renting. I was tired of renting, and it was just time to let it go. And so I understood the benefits of home ownership, but I was so scared. I just didn't think I would qualify. I just didn't think I would be able to, financially do it. And so by me connecting to my realtor, she's very patient, walked us through the beginning phases of it, answered a lot of the questions. I started listening to podcasts um, on Spotify. I started listening to YouTube channels with people who were in the loan officer positions, and just also, listening to what she was telling us in terms of her experience with the industry and how, she interacts and the different things that she goes through with her clients. And so that was the process that I took for a year and a half, on top of getting my credit where it needed to be, or in a place where I wanted it to be able to maximize the best interest rates, have the best negotiating power, all that good stuff as a purchaser. And I did this process again for a year and a half. We also received listings of homes so we can kind of get a understanding of what the market was at that time, and also how it was shifting, because during this time, prior to me actually getting to this phase, interest rates were really low. However, because of inflation, interest rates went up. And so, we have to kind of deal with that at this point. And so, um, this year I said, you know what? let's just do it. We got to do it. I know my husband was saying it, but it's time for us to move on and get this home. And so I did take that leap of faith. I knew we were going to get taxes. So I was like, I want to be able to utilize my taxes to be able to do this. Okay. And so, in what was it? April. Okay. In April, which just recently passed because we're now May 1st. So in the middle of April, end of April, I decided that let me just go ahead and apply. Okay. And so I put in my application and it came back that I was able to get an offer of about 325,000 at an interest rate of 7. Okay. Now, right now, the market is anywhere from 5.5 to 6 on average with a credit score about 7, some about 740s. And so my credit score at the time that they ran it was 689. And so prior to that, it was like in the 500s. So I was struggling. Okay. However, I just said, you know what? I'm going to do the work. And I got it done. And I said, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I was going to do it. And so I did it. I was pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of myself. I got a 689, like crazy. And so it was time. And so I got back in contact with Miss Washington, let her know. And she's been such a great resource because I've been able to just talk to her about every little thing, any questions I had, what my process was, where I was in the steps, where I was, what my next goal was, what my next step was. And just, I can't thank her enough for what that was, how she made that process so seamless, even though it just felt so nerve-wracking. But anywho, so got it ran, been looking at a couple of houses, and on yesterday we toured about 3 homes, and I found this nice little cute Cape Cod. Okay, it's cute, I'll be honest. And it has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and they are pricing it at $299 right now. So we went ahead and I said, you know what, let's go ahead and even with my husband's input, we said we were going to go ahead and submit an offer. Now, let me tell you, I walked out of there with so many thoughts of how, this moment would come, just how I already felt being in the house. And I just said, man, this was so nice because everything just, you can just see, I could see my kids playing in there. I could see them coming home from work. I could see my boys, just chilling and knowing that that's home. Okay. And I was like, I'm ready. I guess you just know when you walk in something, you can feel it. And of course, there was a lot of homes we walked through, and I might have gotten some little vibe, some little energy, but I just knew, I was like, you know what? Whoever did this did a really, really nice job. And of course, now we're going to go through the process of an inspection and appraisal. But, I just, today, I'll just have to say it was crazy. At the moment that I got the email where I needed to sign off on the documents to go ahead and submit my offer, it was so many emotions running through my head. My children, the unknown, just not knowing what was going to happen, what was going to be on the other side of that contract. Because once you go into something like this is a huge, huge investment. And all I could think about was, once you sign that paper, you are legally binded to this, okay? It's not a rental property, it's not a rental. You can't just walk away in a year on a contract. You are with it for 15 to 30 years, whatever kind of mortgage you sign for. And so it was just that. It was just so many thoughts like, oh my gosh, is it enough room? Oh my gosh, is it in the right neighborhood? Oh my gosh, how are they going to do in school? Oh my gosh, is it, is the area growing? What's the potential? Are they expanding out here? What kind of neighborhoods do we have? What kind of community is this? How is all of this going to look? What do I have access to? Where's the fire station? Where's the police station? Where's the grocery store? I just went through all of these different thoughts. And I also was thinking, am I making the right decision? Because I've made some financial decisions in the past that were not so hot and had to live through the consequences. Okay? And I just vowed to myself that I would never do something like that again without knowledge of what it is that I'm getting myself into. Previous financial decisions were made without much thought. They were, and some people are not as calculated or, as detailed as I am with that. And that's all in a personality. I'm just not always the type that just jumps. And I felt like back then I did without a lot of knowledge, without a lot of understanding. It's just a lot of emotions running off of it, forgetting the fact that anytime you sign a contract that is legal, okay, a contract where you are saying that I am going to pay and I am obligated to pay and I am aware of this, you can't just turn around and not do it. You can't just cut it off or shut it off. And so I just said, this time around, I want to make sure that when I sit at that table or when I send this form saying that this is my offer, that I'm going into it knowing everything that I'm about to get out of it, where I stand, what were my, what was still my power, what was still in my control with that contract, what is my non-negotiables, what am I not going to accept, and what am I willing to accept, okay? And so with this process, for example, this house is $299,000 and $995, I think. And so my payments would roughly be around $2,300, and that includes property taxes, homeowners insurance, the PMI, because I am doing a FHA or a Virginia home, the VHDA, which is plus loan, that is going to not require me to put so much down. So I'll get to keep some of the money that I have saved up. And it's about a minimum of 3.5 is what we have to put down, and the closing costs. Okay, so depending on which way we go, whether it's straight FHA or whether it's the VHDA, will determine if I do the second loan on the a second loan on the down payment. For some people, that's called a Chenoa, but it is part of the VHDA plus loan that you have the obligation to do that. If it's just a straight FHA, then the down payment comes out of my pocket along with the closing costs. So I wanted to make it the most economic as possible, maximize, to make sure that, hey, at the end of the day, keep some of the money that you save because you worked hard for it. And so when that time comes out, explain what that video is. But those are one of the two loans that I will be running for. And so along with, the other thoughts, I just was thinking about my dad, grandma, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and a lot of the things I wanted to accomplish while, my my dad was here, while my grandmother was here. And I just started breaking down because it's a big decision. And I didn't want to feel like I was procrastinating. I didn't want to feel like I was unsure. It's just a lot. and you have to be very wise in the decisions that you make. To my boys, always understand that, when you make a decision, there's going to be either a reward or consequence. You have to know which one you're willing to take and which one you're willing to deal with. And so buying this home, to me, was going to be a reward on the other end. I was just scared. Fear of the unknown. And, I just called my mom. I called some friends just to make sure that I wasn't feeling like alone in this. Like these weren't just emotions that just popped up, or I'm the only one that feels like this. And, once I was able to validate that and just put my trust and my faith in God and just say, you know what? It's going to be what it's supposed to be. I had these same emotions when I left home for the first time. I had the same emotions when I moved to New York for the first time. I had these same emotions when I had both of my boys. I didn't know what to expect. I had the same emotions when I graduated from nursing school. And all of this hard work, I just had to say, you know what? Don't let all that hard work go in vain. And so here we are, the day of the acceptance, and the seller accepted our offer. And so that's pretty exciting that, again, I never thought I would get to this place. I just never thought. And so now the next step is we are going to extend our earnest deposit. The earnest deposit is about $1,000. So we submit that to the attorneys, which shows that we are serious about moving forward. And then after that, we're going to do the inspection. So I'm going to be sending over the inspector who I would like to have, and just kind of compare to see how they are to the other inspectors that I'm going to get a list of. And so that's going to be the next step. And of course, I will be, just going through this process every day just to, give you my feedback and my thoughts, hopefully to answer any questions for you, my children, and anyone else that ever comes across this video, the process of going into a home. And I'll explain some other stuff in another video, but I just want to give my experience of how the feelings and emotions can overwhelm me, because I almost drove my realtor crazy this morning because she was so concerned. That's how long she's been with us, and I truly appreciate the type of person she is, because some people will just be in it just because they solely want, the financial return. But I can see that, as she is still a woman of business, she's also a woman of integrity and honesty and understanding. So it was by no coincidence that my friend introduced us, because she's been such an amazing person. And that is so important in this process, because again, it's still a business. But at the end of the day, she understands my goals. Even if I had to shift them just a little bit, I told her what my goals were, and she always tried to make sure that I stayed true to that. Even if it just adjusted a little bit, but not to the point where it was going to stress me all the way out. Then now I'm like, oh my God. But it's stressful just because right now, with what we're paying in rent, it's definitely not the same. However, the home buying benefits far outweigh what I will still be assuming if I continue to rent. And with renting, I'm just doing nothing but making someone else richer and putting money in their pocket versus what I could be putting back in mine and leaving something for my children with their names on it. Something for them. So, all right. I will see you on the next video.